Hello students, in today's class we will continue with the chapter inheritance, and today we will learn about method overriding. So what is method overriding? Now when a subclass has the same name of the method as the base class, then it will be called as method overriding. Similarly, if a variable has the same name in the subclass as that of in the superclass, then that variable will be known as hidden variable or hiding of the variable. Now let's see in details. If the subclass has the same method signature, that is the method name, the return type, the number of arguments and the type of arguments, if the method signature is same as that of the base class, then it will be known as method overriding. Now the method in the parent class is called the overridden method, and the method in the child class is called overriding method. So what happens when a method in the subclass uses the same name as the method in the base class? Then the method in the base class gets hidden or gets overshadowed by the method of the subclass. To explain this, I have taken an example of a program. This program will illustrate the method overriding. So what I have done, I have taken a parent class, that is base class, as vehicle. So here vehicle is the base class. Now the instance variable of vehicle is speed, which I have initialized with value 10. Then I am defining a method as void run. What this void run is doing? This void run is just printing a statement, the vehicle is running. And then I am closing the method and then the base class. Then what I'll do, I'll create the child class of this vehicle. So I've given the name of the child class as bike. So class bike extends vehicle. This is how inheritance is done. So the subclass name extends base class name. Then what I have done, I have taken a similar variable with the name speed. The speed variable was declared in the base class also. The speed variable is declared in the derived class also. Here I have initialized the value as 20. Again, I am defining a method in the derived class as void run. Now again you all see this run method is similar to the method which I have declared in the base class. Base class is also having a method named as void run. In the derived class also I am having a method named as void run. Now, inside void run, what I have done, again I am printing a statement, the bike is running safely. And then one more method I have used inside the derived class, which is named as void display. Now this display method is calling the run method. Now here comes the confusion that which method will be called. Because the base class is also having a method named as run, the derived class is also having a method named as run. So which method will be called? Yes, and as we know that when a derived class is extending the features of the base class, that means it can use all the features of the base class. So in this derived class, which run method is going to be called? Now here comes this method overriding. As we are calling this run method inside the derived class, so the run method of the derived class will be invoked, and the run method of the base class gets hidden by this run method of the derived class. Similarly, for the similar thing happens for this speed variable also. When I am printing here the speed, that means here we are using the speed variable which is given in the derived class and not the speed variable of the base class. Speed variable is also getting hidden. So when we will create the object of bike class and we will call the display method, the output will be given like this. Bike is running safely, because inside display method we are calling run. So this run method belongs to this derived class. Now inside this derived class run method, the statement is bike is running safely. So the output is bike is running safely, and we have printed the speed also. So speed equals to 20. This is all about method overriding. Now, how to come out of this situation? Like if I have a method named same as the method in the derived class, then how can I use that base class method in the derived class? For that, we are having a keyword named as super. Let us see what are the uses of this super keyword. The super keyword can be used for calling the parent class method. Parent class method means here the method which is having the same name in the derived class also, we will call that method. And the syntax is super dot overridden method. Next is super keyword can be used for referring to the parent's class hidden variable. Syntax is super dot hidden variable. And next is super keyword can be used for calling the parent class's constructor. So what are the three uses of the super keyword? Super keyword can be used to call the parent class's method which is having the same name as the method which is used in the child class. Super keyword can be used for referring to the parent class's hidden variable, and super keyword can be used to call the parent class's constructor. Why? Because we cannot call parent class's constructor, we cannot explicitly call parent class's constructor inside the derived class. So for that we need to use this super keyword. Now let us see the use of super keyword in program. Again I have taken a class named as vehicle. This is my base class. Then I have taken an instance variable as speed, and here I have defined the constructor of this class vehicle. So public vehicle, this is a parameterized constructor. It is taking a parameter int s. This s will be assigned to speed. And then again I am defining a method named as void run. This void run is again printing a message vehicle is running. Then I am extending the vehicle class. That is, I am creating the child class of vehicle. So class bike extends vehicle. That is, bike is my child class. Now inside bike also I have declared an instance variable named as speed, which is same as the instance variable which I have used in base class. Then I am defining the constructor of this bike class. Now here you see, when I am defining the constructor of the bike class, in the parameter list I have given two parameters. One is int vs, another one is int ds. Now this vs value will be sent to the base class's constructor. We will pass this value vs to our base class constructor so that the speed variable in the base class gets initialized. And this bs, that is bike speed, this is going to be assigned to the speed variable in the derived class. Now, inside this constructor of bike class, the first statement that I have written is super. And this is how you should call the constructor of the base class inside your derived class. When you are defining the constructor in the derived class, inside the constructor, the first statement should be this super. That is, you are calling the constructor of the base class. So super, and I am passing the value vs. So with this value vs, the speed variable gets initialized in the base class. And then I am initializing speed equals to bs. Now this speed is the speed variable of derived class. Then I'm defining the method void run in the derived class. Now this void run method is having the same name as the method I have defined in the base class also. So inside this void run, again I'm printing a statement, bike is running safely. Now again, after this I'm defining a method named as void display. Inside void display, first I'm calling only run method. Now this run method, this statement is going to call the run method of the bike class, that is the derived class. Okay, and I'm printing the speed. Now this speed variable is the variable which I have used in the derived class, okay, whose value will be 20. And then in the next line, what I have written super.run. Now this statement is going to invoke the run method which is used in the base class. Okay, and in the next line I'm printing speed equals to super.speed. Now super.speed means this speed variable is the variable which I have used in the base class. Then I'm defining the main method, public static void main. I'm creating the object of bike class, and here I'm sending two values, 10 and 20. Now this 10 is going into VS, that means vehicle speed. So this VS is going to be assigned to the speed of the base class, and this 20 is going to be assigned in BS, that is this value will be assigned inside the variable speed that is used in the derived class. And then I'm calling the display method. Now let us see the output. So what we have done inside this main method, we have created an object of the bike class, and here I have passed the values 10 and 20 to the constructor of the bike class. Now 10 will be assigned to VS, that is vehicle speed, and 20 will be assigned to bike speed. Now this VS I am passing through the super. I am passing this through super method to the constructor of the base class. Now what we are doing with the object, we are calling the display method. Now inside the display method, first we have called run. So this run method belongs to the derived class. Now inside the run method of the derived class, what we have printed bike is running safely. So in the output string we are getting bike is running safely. After this I have printed the speed. Now this speed is the speed of the bike class. So what is the value of the speed variable? It is 20. So it is printing speed equals to 20. After the statement, I have used super.run. Now super.run means this is calling the run method of the base class. So inside the base class, this run method was printing the statement vehicle is running. So it is printing vehicle is running. After the statement, again I have used a print statement that is printing super.speed. Now this super.speed means it is indicating the speed variable of the base class. So what is the value of the speed variable of the base class? That is 10. So it is printing speed equals to 10. Now this was all about overriding and the use of super keyword. Then there is a small note for you all, that what is this method overriding? This method overriding is an example of runtime polymorphism. We have read about polymorphism. We know polymorphism. Polymorphism is taking more than one form. We have done function overloading also. In function overloading, we have done that it is one kind of polymorphism. So method overriding is also an example of runtime polymorphism. Now why runtime polymorphism? Because this method calls, when we are calling the method, these things are determined at the time of execution. So that's why it is known as runtime polymorphism. Next comes the final keyword. What is the use of final keyword? The final keyword are used to declare constant values. The values which we cannot change. So if I write a variable as int final x equals to 10, that means its value won't be changed. We cannot change its value anymore. So for declaring a variable as constant, we can use this final keyword. Next, the final methods. If I am declaring a method as final, then those methods cannot be overridden by the subclasses. So if I am declaring a method as final in the base class, then I cannot override that method in the subclass. And then comes for a class. If I am declaring a class as final, then that class cannot be extended. That means that class cannot be inherited. Okay. So this was all about method overriding, use of super keyword and final keyword. So today we will end our class here only. Next day again we will continue with abstract class interfaces, which belongs to this chapter inheritance. So for today, thank you.